Good day and welcome. AdventureBox just closed their books for the fourth quarter of 2022. And with me here today to talk a little bit about the report, I have its former CEO, Rickard Riblom. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's not only the former CEO that I have here with me, I also have the new CEO. It's Michal Bendtsen. Welcome to you too.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. That's great.
Michal, I thought we'd begin with you being the new CEO and all. Could you start by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, I'm from Denmark and I have a traditional business background, but I quickly turned into the more interactive and computers when I started to work, and I initially started working for Lego. They had this interactive future division back then, and I took part of creating that. After that, I started creating my own games and also worked in some of the developing studios here in Denmark and also in the UK. A little later on, I took part in starting up a creative platform for kids called Multiverse ApS. And that basically led me to create my own platform, which is also a creative platform called KoGaMa, where you can create your own games, very much based on the feedback and the ideas that I learned from creating Multiverse ApS, or at least took part of starting it up. And I've also been working as a consultant for other creative platforms in the meantime, and trying to help out other platforms.
And it was with the acquisition of Multiverse ApS and KoGaMa that you became CEO. But Rickard, you are the former CEO. You were CEO when the decision to acquire the company took place. Could you give us a little bit of background behind the decision?
Yeah. So over a year ago, I started to look at our platform and compare with other companies in the game industry from a pure shareholder perspective. And this was much before Ukraine and the economic turmoil and everything we had at that time. And some of the companies were good, but KoGaMa really outperformed them all, not just in revenue, but in metrics, which is sometimes as important. And there were a lot of users spending time and money and everything on the platform. And it's not just that the potentials are huge in the future. The platform is already here. Only Roblox is big in our segments, and all competitors kind of diminish compared to KoGaMa. And then we finally managed to close a good deal so we could acquire them, and it was really good for us.
But what of the functionality of the platform? How does KoGaMa platform compare to the old AdventureBox one?
Yeah, in many ways they are very similar, and the core vision behind the two platforms are very similar, which also of course make this acquisition much easier, because we kind of like both understood what we were trying to create here. I would say the real big difference is that KoGaMa is some years ahead on plan of what AdventureBox want to become. So you could basically say we took a jump ahead into the future, where suddenly we have monetization features actually in operation, and we also had a stronger advertised-based revenue model that had actually been developed for some years. But besides that, there are definitely also some benefits from AdventureBox regarding the whole pattern and the streaming technology that over time is going to be incorporated into the KoGaMa platform.
Well, if we open up the report, we actually see revenues, and I assume that this is sourced with the KoGaMa platform. They amounted to 501,000 Swedish crowns from previously having been 0 the corresponding quarter last year. Total revenues were 1.2 million. Is this in line with what KoGaMa has delivered in terms of revenue in previous quarters?
Yes, it is. Of course, we also have seen some changes, especially in terms of the revenue market, because of the whole situation in the world right now. And it's definitely become more difficult to make revenue on advertisement. But we are changing some of the models that we are using and trying to cope with the situation as it is. We also have some users in the areas that is in the direct in this conflict right now, and that is of course also means that we have lost some revenue from that.
When continuing to look into your income statement, the result was reported as negative 17.2 million Swedish crowns. You're right, Michal, that during the quarter, capitalized development expenses amounted to 12.6 million SEK were scrapped. Could you elaborate a little bit on what this truly means?
Yeah, because we have moved to the KoGaMa platform, we have scrapped some of the earlier developed work done on the Adventure Box platform, especially work that was done before the Multimaker. A lot of that work have been scrapped, so that's basically what it means.
Well, we talked a little bit about the acquisition before we got into the report, and it's going to be difficult, of course, not talking about it. AdventureBox exits Q4, a little bit different than how it entered. But the original platform is going to be retired in favor of KoGaMa. You write in the report, and as you have explained in the interview. And this is to streamline resources. But is there anything from the old platform that will be kept in a new one?
Yes, definitely. There's both a lot of knowledge that we have gained from creating the Multimaker, but there's also technology that we're gonna bring over to the KoGaMa platform. So it's not that everything is lost. It's just that the KoGaMa platform is outperforming any metrics compared to the Adventure platform. So it wouldn't really make sense for us from a cost perspective to actually keep both platforms alive. We want to focus and basically put all our effort into the platform that shows most promise.
One more thing, we really should remember that KoGaMa really stands out compared to the competitors. When we compare data metrics and revenue, KoGaMa has something which only the biggest companies have. They're valued enormously much more. I should really give credit to the team at KoGaMa for kind of accomplishing this and making the platforms combine and use the best. It's amazing and it looks good.
Will you continue to publish similar metrics then to the KoGaMa platform now that AdventureBox, the old platform, used to?
Yes. I think though we are going to change a bit in the metrics. We are still looking at what metrics would be most interesting to show. And I think one of the metrics we are looking at is kind of like time spent on the platform, which is usually within the 40 minutes on average for a user, which is quite impressive compared to other platforms out there.
And you're replacing the old AdventureBox platform to streamline resources, but are we already seeing effects of this cost-wise, or when can we expect to?
Yes, I think we are. We have reduced cost in many places, and I think we're getting to a point now where it's kind of gonna be leveling out now, and we won't see any more cost reduction in the platform. So basically, that is one thing that is very difficult to see from the outside, and maybe also if you don't really have a lot of experience working with software development, and it of course takes time moving people from one platform to another. There's of course some time to get people up to speed, but I've been really impressed about the team, and I think it very much relates to them have been working on a very similar product. So it has usually, I would say, it would take 6 months for a team to get up to speed, but I would already say that we are basically performing as I would expect in terms of velocity.
This process started over a year ago with a total restructuring of the company, both competence-wise and number of people and everything. So it's been ongoing for a long time, and I think the results are in the team right now.
Yeah.
But what about the patents that laid the groundworks for the old platform of AdventureBox? Will you keep those?
Yes, we will definitely keep those. and we are already utilizing some of the features of the pattern. So yes, definitely. And as I said earlier, I also think we are going to incorporate more, especially in part of the streaming, is going to be incorporated. So you are able to stream like larger world, data worlds. I think that's very interesting, and it's not something we are focusing on right now. We are still focusing on streamlining and getting everything operational. But it's definitely something we will be going back to.
Something that I found interesting in the report was the mention of artificial intelligence that has been making progress in recent months. And you talked about the potential of artificial intelligence for your platform. And I was curious if you could give us a concrete example of how you might use AI.
Yes. I think these platforms here for user-created games, most of these platforms aims to make something easier, make it easier to create content and easy to share it. So, of course, when new technology as AI in the format has been popping up lately, it really would make sense to incorporate into a platform like KoGaMa. And what we have been looking at, especially, is like model creation. And there's promising ways that we could really speed up how you create content on KoGaMa using AI technology.
Then my final question to you, Michal, is what your expectations is for 2023 and what shareholders can look forward to as we're moving into this new year.
Yes, I would say that our focus is on monetization. And we basically have 3 different ways of monetizing right now. So we have an advertisement-based revenue model. And in that area, we are moving into rewarded ads much more than we are doing right now. That means that the user have to watch an ad, and for watching an ad, they will receive some kind of gift in the game. It's basically... this is where the advertisement for gaming is moving and has been moving for some time, and we also have to be there. And then we have to extend our creator-driven monetization, which means that the creator can actually create shop in each game. So you not only have one shop, but you have 1,000, for not to say millions of shop where people can buy content. It's something we already have some of, but it's definitely one of the areas that we're going to extend in 23. And the last thing is our subscription model, where we basically going to add more social features where you can create your own server, basically, where you can kind of, you get almost like a mini version of KoGaMa where you can host your own games and you can basically communicate to a smaller audience. That's another area we are looking into.
Michal Bendtsen, CEO of AdventureBox, thank you very much for answering my questions.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was great.
Rickard, you're exiting as your time as CEO of AdventureBox is over, but what is the next step for you?
Well, first I'll make sure this acquisition continues to work as smooth as it does now, but then I have a feeling there are a lot more companies that need to restructure to save themselves and gain real revenue. And scaling smaller companies with low resources is really what I love to do. I look forward to doing that more.
Then I wish you the best of luck, Rickard. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.